It's the start of the holy month of Ramadan, which for Muslims around the world is a month of fasting, prayer, reflection and community. Fasting during Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. It's a time where we abstain from food, drink and other physical needs from dawn right through to dusk. Now, I've been having a real think about whether I should keep my content on this channel secular and focus mainly on my struggles as a PhD student at Oxford, or whether I should also talk about the difficulties I faced in other parts of my life directly because of ADHD. I've decided I have to be true to myself and talk about my full experience of ADHD and hopefully share some nuggets that I've learnt along the way so you don't go through the difficulties I went through. During this month, I'll be targeting my videos at my Muslim audience, so stay tuned to learn something about my religion. In this video, I'm going to share how I'm able to stick to my 5 daily prayers even outside of Ramadan as a busy PhD student at Oxford University, and not only this, how I'm able to actually make prayer more fulfilling and enjoyable whilst doing it with ADHD. The real struggles of being Muslim with ADHD. ADHD affects me not only with inattention and procrastination with my university studies or my work as a medical doctor, but it impacts my own personal life. And where I've seen the most impact has been in my practice of Islam. I have so many memories from my childhood of losing focus during mosque class and being told off by my teacher. I'd lose focus after reading a page of the Quran and couldn't sit still for the life of me. This would usually end with me talking to my friends unnecessarily and disrupting the whole class. With my Salah, it's incredibly difficult to keep focus for protracted periods of time, and even when I'm praying I get distracted easily and can lose track of which rak'ah I'm in. Anyone who has ADHD and is Muslim knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is no laughing matter because for years I thought it was down to me and I thought I was a bad Muslim until I was diagnosed with ADHD at medical school, and it finally hit me what was going on. Until that point I had no idea why I struggled so much with finding focus in prayer, and quite frankly why I didn't enjoy it or build up a great connection with Salah. Once I was diagnosed, it all started to make sense to me, and I'm proud that even despite some of these difficulties that I've been facing because of my ADHD, I've been able to stay consistent and finally find fulfillment in prayer. Prayer is one of the central parts of my day. Everything in my day at university or as a doctor is revolved around my prayer, and once my connection with prayer does change over time, by being disciplined I've been able to hold a solid prayer routine and to become a productive Muslim. My prayer supports every aspect of my life at university. Nothing beats coming back to university work after I've prayed my Salah. So let's get into the 5 single biggest strategies that have helped me stay firm on my prayer at Oxford University and build a solid routine. 1. The Pillars app. The biggest difficulty with prayer is the consistency required to pray all your prayers day in, day out, regardless of what's going on in your life, whether you have exams coming up, an essay deadline, or anything really. One of the biggest things that's helped augment my consistent praying routine at university has been the Pillars app. The Pillars app is a totally ad-free, privacy-driven and Muslim-founded app developed by a fellow NHS physician Dr. Abdurrahman Abbas and Tariq Jamal. Besides the app's sleek and aesthetic feel, there's a really cool widget that sits on my home screen, and through the widget I can see daily when the next prayer is, and most importantly for me, the prayer tracker feature. I've talked previously about the difficulties with ADHD of sticking to tasks over a long period of time, and this prayer tracker has really reduced the friction in keeping track of all my prayers. And keeping my streak up has never felt so easy. Because of the Pillars app, I now know pretty much when all the 5 prayers are and when sunrise and sunset will be the next day. And that's helped me make prayer an integral part of my day, making my schedule work around my prayer rather than the other way around. Definitely check out the app in the App Store or Google Store if you have Android. It's totally free and I'll include a link in the description. 2. Stay in wudu throughout the day. One of the barriers to consistent prayer is being in the state of ablution so you're able to pray with ease. This is especially true at university, where I might have several meetings and tutes throughout the day, and I might only have a few minutes in between tutes to actually pray. And this is even more the case during the winter months when Dhuhr and Maghrib can be as close as 2 to 3 hours apart. And by getting into the habit of leaving the home with wudu and returning from uni with wudu, and in fact being in the state of purification throughout the day, I've taught myself to pray Salah whenever and wherever I can. As humans, we're fallible creatures, and so it's important to build this habit of staying in a state of purification throughout the day so you can read Salah at the earliest moment, rather than living with the regret of missing your Salah. And this leads me onto to my next strategy. 3. Carry a portable prayer mat. Now you really have to carry one of these babies in your bag, because I can't say the countless times this simple prayer mat has saved me. With ADHD, building solid habits requires us to make things easy for ourselves and reduce the friction. By carrying a portable prayer mat around with me, I'm able to be opportunistic with praying and pray whenever and wherever. It's important to find a place to pray in your department or lecture building, and if you don't know where it is, you can always ask for one. For me, I'm very lucky that my department has an unused service room and hallway where nobody ever wanders, so I can just pray my Salah here. But when I study in a coffee shop, I like to always have my prayer mat handy so I can nip out and pray whenever. My top tip is to fold the prayer mat by inverting it on itself, so you keep the mat itself clean always, and get a few and put some in your car, in your bike bag, in your jacket pocket, so you're physically reminded of your prayer throughout the day. 4. Have your prayer clothes nearby. Now a lot of the times when I'm studying, I like to study in comfortable gym wear or shorts which aren't necessarily suitable for praying in. And one of the great ways that I've definitely been able to solidify my prayer routine is by having a jubba and prayer hat nearby, so I can present myself appropriately for prayer rather than having to change my clothes every time I pray. Wearing a hat when I'm at home in my office also reminds me to pray. There's no way I'm going to miss my Salah when I have a topi on. It's just not going to happen, and that's also a solid device I've used to solidify my praying routine at university. 5. Use the visibility method to your advantage. In his famous book, Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about the visibility method in building a good routine. James talks about the impact of your environment in building a routine and how essential it is to creating a healthy habit. The visibility method is all about designing your environment and making very small changes to make it easier to get started with building a habit. In the example in his book, he talks about how he built a habit of flossing after he brushes his teeth by buying pre-made flosses and keeping them near his toothbrush so he can see the floss right after he brushes his teeth. In a similar vein, I can't recommend enough using your household environment to make it easier for you to stay firm to your prayer at university. One of the best ways to use the visibility method is by keeping your prayer mat out always in the same place in your room. It can be tempting to fold away your prayer mat to keep it clean, but a prayer mat serves no good if it's put away. And so I keep my mat open always, and it's always in the same place. That way when I get back in from uni, I know I have to pray my Isha Salah and have a great visual pointer to do so. Through using my environment, I've been able to reduce the friction to praying. Sure, there's times when I'm feeling too lazy to pray, but by making it easier and foolproof to hold on to my habit, when I really need to dig deep to pray at university, it's very easy. I found that by being consistent with Salah, I've been able to develop more fulfillment with my prayers rather than the opposite way of finding fulfillment with ADHD and then praying regularly. And this makes sense for me. Every time you demonstrate discipline and pray your Salah, or any habit really, the movement motivates you to keep holding on to your habit. And the rest is history really. Building strong habits with ADHD can be tough as we're easily distracted and find it hard to stick to things over a long period of time. I hope in this video I've been able to show you that it's very possible to build this most essential habit of praying regularly at university with ADHD. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, let me know in the comment section below what you found helpful, and like this video and subscribe to stay up to date with more videos on the systems, frameworks and gadgets that I use to stay on top of my ADHD every single day at university. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.